Hello YouTubers, welcome back. Well, so we're going to start another different kind of wallet today. So I have had you guys on bifold wallet, trifold wallet, some smaller mini wallets I believe. So today we're going to do some cutouts. I bought these patterns, a bunch of them, bunch of patterns, and these are the patterns I purchased, and so I'm going to show you how we do it. So I take a thick cardstock, 110-pound cardstock, print it out, and then we're going to put this on our leather. We're going to make wallets. They're going to look like this. We're going to need an outside and an inside. And the inside will have this piece cut out, and it'll give that back pocket so you can have some place to tuck away and hide away some stuff within the wallet. And it'll be stitched all the way around. They make for a pretty interesting wallet. Small cards on each side, kind of almost like a vertical. They can fit in upper pocket or front pocket. So the first thing we do is after we've printed this out, is we get our scissors out. I like to cut all the pieces first because the way I like to do it, a lot of folks will take these and trace. They will take these pieces and cut them out. Then they'll lay the pieces down and trace them around their leather. And then they'll cut them out. Whereas the way I do mine, let me show you a little trick how I do mine. How I do mine is I go ahead and just cut it out. Leaving probably 20 millimeters or so to the edge. And then what we'll do is we'll staple this to our leather because we won't be using that edge anyway. And normally it's a good idea to leave about a 10 millimeter spacing between cutouts anyway. So might as well just go ahead and leave your spacing like here. Cut these out. So I need one set of pockets for one side, one set of pockets for the other side. So, the way we'll have to do these, I'll show you. We'll have to turn them one way on the leather, and then since they're opposite facing, we'll have to turn the leather over so we can get an opposite cut on the leather. And I'll show you how to do that. But I've made a few of these wallets. It's been a little while, but it shouldn't be too hard. It'll be for some nice, easy makings. And they seem to sell pretty well too, so can't beat that. It's all good when it sells well. Cut these bad boys out. Go. So that's that. Get you a little scrap of that. And then I'll bring the leather over here in just a second. Okay, YouTubers, I think we have I'm going to use some of this brown here that I've got, and I'm going to see if this will work. So too tall. Sides a little too tall too. These work perfect. So we're going to work these right in here. So how we're going to do this is, I'm going to line this up. I'm going to need to cut one of these for the outside, one for the inside. They're both the same. That's the way I like to do it. So I like to just line it up here on the leather with our border. And just give it a little, you can use tape, but I like to use a staple because it seems to hold a little better. And I've never seen anybody do it this way but me. So I don't know if anybody's ever done it this way or not. So let me know in the comments if you've seen anybody use a stapler like this before for patterns. But that's the way I like to do it. So it's real easy. You just staple it a few times, right? And then you turn your leather. Take your scissors. You get right down this guy, cutting. Sure you stay in the lines there. Just go ahead and try to keep him flat, not too curved. And a couple staples in there. Go right down the middle. Staple right here on the end. Same thing with this. We've already got our staples on the top, sides, and stay off those lines. And stay off the lines. Okay, got those two. Pretty much takes care of that. Just get rid of this leather here. I'll put that leather up later. We've got this leather here. So we'll go ahead and fix these pieces right here. Show you all the tricks of the trades and how to do different leather pieces. You could cut it out by hand and do it the hard way and measure it, but I like to do it this way. It's a lot more fun. It's fairly accurate. And it works pretty good. And I've done it this way for a long time. Never had any big issues. So we'll just set this right here on this. Go ahead and cut this piece out. Go ahead and give it a couple staples. Okay. And give one of each of these a staple on this side. Like so. This piece right here, something like that. Okay. Now, since we're going to have two pockets, so this pocket will be here, this outside pocket be here, okay? So it'll kind of be like one of those numbers. So this pocket sets on top of this pocket here. It makes that, but you can see that's not going to work on this side. So we'll flip it over to make these two opposite going, right? So we'll take our leather, flip it over, take these and put them upright. And so now when we cut this, it'll cut them in the opposite direction. Let's go ahead and cut this. Okay. Looks good. There's that piece for this one, which lines up perfectly. stapler up. So one thing I will want to do is I will want to make this knife a little sharper because I've been using it for a while. I want to take our little bottle that we used, and we have used sharp blades on there. Mark it sharp blades so that everybody knows now and in the future that those are sharp blades. Twist that off, dump that in. That's why I like these kind of blades. They're very nice. They do very well. You just snap the blade off. And now you can just use the blade. See how nice and sharp that is. Very sharp, sharp. Okay. And we don't have to push down that hard to get it to go through now. So we'll start down here, and usually what I like to do is I like to just cut the corners. So just cut the corners real slow. And then where we have our straightaways, just use my ruler. Because a ruler will assist us in staying straight. I could cut it freehand and do it straight, but I'm trying to show you guys how to do this to get it more accurate so that you're not weebly wobbly. You just cut the corner. Then come in here and cut your straights, like so. Right? These are extra pieces. And there's a corner we didn't cut. So we'll go ahead and cut this corner here, right? Go ahead and get that corner cut. So let's cut that corner and cut this straight. And you can see when we have a sharp blade, we don't even have to hardly push down to get the blade to work. So I've already cut that corner. Come up this straightaway. And it looks like a pretty small card pocket, but you know, it's not too bad. So now we have this card pocket. Remember, it's going to go right there, the opposite direction. So it works pretty good. So we'll keep this piece just for reference. Do the same thing here. We'll just go ahead and cut our corners in. Just our corners, nothing more. And this we can kind of just turn. You can actually put your knife down in there and then just use this hand and turn, because it's sharp enough. Your knife would be sharp enough at this point where you can just use this to turn. Because that blade is so sharp, right? Or you can use this hand and draw it back like this. And just do it real slow. Or you can do a combination of both, like so. And then when you get to the straightaway, just get your ruler up there. Come off that, nice and easy, nice and slow. Take everything nice and slow. Sometimes the slower you go, the better off you'll be. That way you'll get nice, easy, sharp cuts. Be very accurate with your cuts. That's what you want. Because the more accurate you are with your cuts, the better this thing will go together. As you will see. And it'll look very professional. So, this is how I do mine. There's tons of different ways to do it. There's a lot of guys that do theirs differently. A lot of guys swear by their way. And that's okay. I think that's the fun and about leather working. Everybody has their own little way, and whatever works for you that makes a nice product in the end, that's what you should do. As you get to doing your leather work, you'll find different ways to do things. You'll find your way of doing things. And as you find your way of doing things, you'll do them that way, and they'll seem to work for you. You'll do nice professional work like that. You get your edges all cut. Pretty good taste. See? So this will fit just like this and this, so to speak. And we'll get those edges sanded. And then we'll go ahead and do these other corners right here. We'll get this corner. Alright, this corner to do. We got this corner to do. Let's get those corners in. Stay right on that line. Stay on that line. As best you can, stay on the lines. Because the more you stay on the lines, the better your pieces are going to come out. The more accurate. I wanted to say more accurate and better, and said more better. So there you go. You can draw it just draw it lightly. If you have to draw it a couple times through your leather, that's okay. And as you get going and using your knife, it'll dull up on you a little bit. It's not going to stay sharp 100% of the time. And you can't be breaking off a blade every 5 seconds, keeping it super sharp. I mean, unless you just want to be behind blades out the wazoo. And, if you want to do that, then that's fine. Whatever floats your boat. But me, I like to try to get as much mileage as I can out of stuff I have, right? So that's what I do. So we got one more here. Cut this corner in. This corner in. this corner in. Go ahead and cut my straight. See, and I've got to, so I don't want to run over that. So I got to keep in mind where your staples are, and don't run over them with your knife because it will dull your knife. So when you see that, stop and then come back and go the other direction. And then come back across this way. Like so. See, that'll do a lot better job for you. Keep in mind, you never want to run across steel against steel. That'll dull your knife quicker than, you could say, Ben Franklin. Now I use some pretty thick leather here, I think 3/4 ounce. So making a pretty thick wallet. But it's going to be for a front pocket. Something sturdy. Miniature but rugged. A lot of people like that. I've had guys, and we're getting ready to go to a swap meet out of church, and they like the inexpensive wallets, so I'm going to make a few of these to sell. Maybe sell these for $15 or something. And so there we go. So those are done. So, okay. So, the next thing we're going to do is get these pieces here. Go ahead and get them a quick sand and get them ready, because we can't burnish these once they're on. And so we're going to go ahead and get them burnished and get them sanded. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this off of my desk here. Always got to keep things clean. And again, I have a little box that I keep leather pieces in. I just stick them in there and fold them up. Keep them until they get full. So, I keep them until they get full. And then I dump them in a bigger container. So we're going to go with a 400. We're just going to kind of just get these kind of wrapped up real quick. Nothing big. Just kind of get a little one direction, bi-directional for a few minutes, and then one direction. And really, we only need to do the inside edges. So we'll do those inside edges and get those done. Because these other points here will be on the outside edge, and we'll do all those at the same time. So, yeah. So those are nice and done. Just get those combed off of there, nice and soft. Take these pieces. Sorry if the fan is going in the background. I know it may be a little annoying, but it's a little warm in here tonight, so it's actually cool outside. Not too cool, but it's awful warm in here, so just got the fan running. And I know it's when you've got the microphones going, it's a little annoying. Because these microphones and these iPhones are really good. I don't even have my lapel mics hooked up. These are just the standard mics on the iPhones. They pick up really, really well. So, there we have it. So those are good to go. So let's go ahead and let's get this dumped. Go ahead and get these trimmed in here. I think rather than using Toconol, I'm going to use gum tragacanth. Gum tragacanth is a original leather burnishing agent used from way back. And it's really pretty good, especially on veg tan, which that's what this is. This is a good veg tan leather. So on any good veg tan, you're going to get best results out of gum trag. Toconol will work as well, but I think that gum tragacanth gum trag for short. Really works well. You just kind of put it on there and let it sit for a second. Try to keep from getting fingerprints all over the leather. Because as you put that on there and then burnish it or rub it, it will burnish pretty well. You could even use this on the inside of leathers. If you want to get like a pasted back leather, you could use that on the inside. And I'll show you how that'll work. Works pretty well too. So. As it starts to burnish, it'll feel like it's getting sticky. And then you'll hear that sticking noise. And that's how you know you're getting good burnish on that. So let's get a nice little edge on it. Edge came out real nice. See that? We need to put the edge stuff on it. Sometimes if you have a point like this and you don't want to keep running off the edge and coming back and hitting that, you put your finger up there and just kind of, as you come up, just hit your finger with this and then draw it back. And you have something to bump up against so you can keep a good burnish on this whole line. But you're not jumping off every 5 seconds to come back and pop this and dent that point. So that's another little technique. There's all kinds of little techniques that you'll pick up as time goes on. It just makes your stuff look better and better and better and better. You get the kind of a bull nose roundness and smooth. That's what you want. And then so when those two pieces go together, this is already done. You put your cards in there. Now you don't have to worry about an unfinished edge. So the edge is already finished. Looks nice, shiny. it doesn't look like it's an unfinished edge. I'll give this a couple of more strokes here. So that's what you're shooting for, is to not have any unfinished edges, you know. So the best thing to do is to put this on, let it sit on there about 45 seconds to a minute. Just don't let it dry. Try to keep it while it's wet, or at least a little bit. You can kind of rub it in until it gets soaked in pretty good, or until your finger feels like it's going through there real rough. If you've got more than one piece, do one piece, do the other piece. And by the time you have the second piece done, your first piece will be ready to burnish. By the time your first piece is burnished, your second piece will be ready. That's usually how it works. Because you want to put it on there, rub it in pretty decent, and then let it set on there for just a few seconds, a few minutes, and then that way then you can get on to burnishing it. When you're burnishing it, you're waiting to feel that stickiness, that, and hear that tick, 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 tick. That's what you want to hear. You want to feel it. You want to feel this sticking to the leather a little bit, creating a little resistance, a little drag. And when you hear those things, and you're feeling the drag, then you know you've got a good burnish on that piece of leather. And that's what you want. And the thing is just go from one area to the next. You know, if you're rubbing and you're not hearing the ticking sound or the burnishing, and go to another piece, another area. Because as it dries, you'll get that ticking sound, that it's drying out, and the heat is laying those fibers down together. That's what you want. You want these fibers to get laid down in one direction. And that's pretty much what's going on here. So, put it from here out there. go. See, now what I was going to show you is if you had, like if you wanted to make this smooth so that your credit cards would slide in and out of here, you could take some of this gum trag and put it on the back, the backing, right, like this. Spread it all around real good. And let's get a little more here. If I do it to one, I gotta do it to the other. Keeps everything even. So let's go ahead and let's take some around the edge of the jar. Get it on here. Okay. Then we could take our glass slicker. Once we get this all applied. So you want to cover the whole area. The entire areas. And it'll be a little sticky. Then you'll get your glass slicker. It looks something like this. And then what we'll do is we'll slick it like this. Makes it nice and slick, shiny. See, your credit cards slide in and out of there real nice. It's pretty cool the way that works. Good morning, YouTubers. How are you this morning? It's Frank with Frank's Fine Leather. Back for another episode of Building Wallets with Frank. Yeah? Be doing some classes here pretty soon for you folks that don't know how to build wallets, or we'll do some build alongs and things like that. How's that sound? Sound pretty good? Leave me a comment in the comments. I don't have very many comments to ever read. I'll answer your comments as soon as you put them down there. Let me know if you're interested. I want to know how many people's interested in a class. Originally, I was going to wait until I had 1,000 subscribers, but I'm thinking about going ahead and putting it on a little early. So I'm trying to put together a package so that I can give you some pre-cut leather at a fantastic wholesale price, and then you can work that project along with me in my YouTubes. So anyway, I'm working out the final details. Or I can send you the chunks of leather that you would need to cut. It would have plenty of leather on there. And then you could cut it the way I cut it and follow what I do. And then you could do it start to finish on your own. Or maybe you could do a combination. Maybe you could start with some pre-cut leather. Get that down to where you're comfortable, and then go for the pieces that I sell you. Or you can buy your pieces on your own if you want. The big thing is it's hard to buy pieces out there unless you go on like eBay. And then those guys charge a lot of money for those little pieces. I won't charge you half them as much as they charge you. So you'll get a good deal with me. Anyway, it's up to you. I'm not trying to push product because that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to teach you how to make leather. Anyway, these are the pieces we finished yesterday, and we've got, we did the edges. But you'll notice when we did the edges, we've got a little, on a couple of these, they have a little burr on there. A little burr. I'm going to take that burr off of there. So what we'll use is we're going to use a fine. Let me see where my fine's at. That's not it. Here it is. Fine edge tool. Okay. So this is a fine. You can see it's very fine. I think this is a 00. Okay. I got this at Tandy. Tandy makes good tools. Their tools are okay for a beginner. And for meaty leather makers, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. They'll work. So, especially if you get their Craft Tool Pro. That's what I get, the Pro series. And they're really good tools. So, anyway, so we'll take this. It's already sharp. Normally, if this is not sharp, it comes with a little tool that you can, a little rod, and then you take a piece of sandpaper and wrap it around the rod and then drag this back across the sandpaper. But I have something better that I bought, which is pretty cool, which when I teach you how to build your leather business, right, you'll get a, I will recommend that you get a, well, if I can get it out of here, a little tool like this. Here, I gotta use two hands on this dude, because he wants to be. Tight. Nope, that's not it. That's why they were tight. Because that's not what I'm looking for. Here it is. This is it. It was right next to it. There's this little deal here in this little box. So what this is you take this little deal here, okay? And it's got ridges on this side and ridges on this side. It's pretty weighty. It's pretty weighty. And then you get like a piece of 600, let's see, piece of 600 or 400, something like that, like this. And then you can always, if you don't know which one to use, you can always kind of measure it up. This one happens to have a little piece of something in it. So to take that out, you'll need to take your awl and just kind of scrape that out a little bit. Yeah, see there, get that piece out of there. There we go. Now it's nice and clean. Okay, see that? Nice and clean. And then you would take it and fit it. And see, it says number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 millimeter. And so once you fit it, this side is for round, this side is for square. Well, I know this is a round, so I want to use the round part, number 1,
put this in there and try each one until it doesn't wiggle, right? Seems to fit this one pretty good, so we'll go with that one. And you just put your sandpaper there, and you just take your awl and you drag it, grab back across there, like so. That's it. And then you're ready to do your leather. See? So then you just go on the edge of your leather. You just go around it. It takes those little burrs right off of there. Isn't that cool? You take this one. And you can see after sharpening it, it makes a big difference. Just go around there, not digging in. Just nice and lightly. Take that off. Throw that away. Take the next piece. We'll just start here. Go up around that curve. Come down this piece, like so. Take that off. We'll just put that stuff right there for now. And so I got those two, and these one. It's the last piece. And just take this little dude and just like that. And just we'll do all the way around on this one. He's got burrs everywhere. You just hold it at a 45-degree angle to the corner. It just takes those little corner edges off just like that. Makes them nice. Okay. And then when you smooth that out, it makes a nice round edge. And people always want to know how you do that. Well, that's a little secret there. Right? That's how you do it. And then, of course, after you do that, you should always take your little gum drag just to moisten everything up. Take your tool, pass it, make a pass or two on it. And that just kind of you can see it makes it really nice, really nice. Yeah, just like that. So let's go ahead and, because it will leave a little off-coloredness around the edge. Not a lot, just a little bit. So you want to put on a little. Get that nice and smooth. The object is to get these nice, where they look nice. You know, they feel smooth, they feel nice. People want, you know, when they handle it, they go, wow, this is good quality. You know, makes them wonder how you did it. Excuse me. A couple of glitches there. They want to know how you do it, and you know, how do you get your quality so high. And that's why I had people always coming back to my leather shop, because I always do high quality things. Because my mentors, both of them, they said if the finer points are left undone, or the edges are left undone, not painted, not taken care of, not sealed, not, you know, then as far as he was concerned, it was not done. It was not a done piece. So I always take that philosophy right back home where I am now. It's good philosophy. If the edges aren't done, then the project's not done. Unless you're trying to build a wallet or build something that you want to be a rugged look. Now that's a different story. If you're building it to have that rugged look, then yes, leaving some of the edges undone is kind of cool, because it gives it that undone look. And sometimes that does look cool. And so, just go around here like so. Okay, got all those done. That's it. We'll always put everything up when I get done. I've got enough out here on my desk already, but I try to keep everything organized and neat in drawers and hung up, and try to keep it where it's at. It's a big factor. So these are done, and the next thing we're going to do is cut our big pieces out. Okay, we're going to cut these out. Take a little spare piece of paper. It's my Mustang. Printed a Mustang to a printer on that, and it didn't come out right, but it did come out pretty cool. Got it on both sides. But I use this side because it's mainly, this part's not colored, so, but use this as a scrap piece of paper. It's nice and thick. It's not that thick. It's thick sheeting. And put that up. So here's what we're going to cut out next. So we'll get to it here in just a second. I had to grab my cup of coffee. So, okay. So we'll start with our fresh blade that we cut or snapped. And then we'll want to go ahead and we're going to use, this is going to be our, let's make this one our inside. So on our inside pocket, which will house these two, right? We'll need to cut this out. So let's go ahead and cut this out. This is going to be a little more tricky to cut out. And so what we'll do is we'll start on the corner here. I'm going to pull this back just a little bit so it's a little shorter. That's the other thing I like about this knife. You can make that blade as long or short as you want. If you make it shorter, you can make it really stiff and very controllable. So, whereas if it's longer, it'll bend a little bit. So you've got to kind of watch out for that. But I really like these. I used regular knives for many years. Then when I started using this knife, I was like, fell in love. So, as I tell people to start their business, this is what I recommend. You can try whatever you like, because everybody's not the same. Some people will like other things better than they will like some things. This one, we got to really be careful how we cut this. So I'm going to cut this straight. And go ahead and lift up, turn, try and come around that corner best I can. This is where a really sharp knife comes in handy. You never want to put your hand behind your knife. Never. Never do that. Never draw a knife towards you where you're going to hit your hand, or away from you where you're going to hit your hand or someone else. And always draw it towards you. You want your hand out of the way. Always follow that safety tip. And if you come out of the lines a little bit, don't worry about it. You know, because after you cut it, the person that the wallet's for is not going to know that you got out of the lines just a tad. Try to stay in the lines, of course, because it'll fit better, but like on this little deal, I got outside the lines a little bit right there because I was looking at something else and not paying attention. I did get outside the line, so if it doesn't pop out, that's okay. Just push it back up in there. And just push it back up in there and then go back over the pieces that they're not coming out. Slowly, slowly. So let your knife glide. On the second pass, just let your knife glide. Let it do all the work. Just all you're doing is pulling it. Let it do the work. Let the knife do the work. Just pull it and keep it in line. If you got out of line a little bit, then let it flow. Is what you do. Just let it flow. And then what we can do is, once we know the problem areas, we can just go in here and cut the little piece off, because sometimes you're not going to get all the way through. Okay, so it's these corners we didn't get through. Didn't pop it. No, didn't pop out quite. So let's go back here. There we go. And all we have to do is pop this little piece out of here. Sometimes you want to pop that back in there so you can get a nice turn on that corner. Those corners are tough, I'm telling you. Even for somebody that's experienced, they get tough. Of course, I haven't made these wallets in a long time. Once you do a few of them, you'll get kind of used to it, and you can kind of go, oh, okay, yeah, that's how I do it. And then if you don't get something perfect, you know, you can take your little Dremel tool or something and get up in there and get a small Dremel going and get up in there and get all that fixed. If you've got a little overhang like this, just pull it up, pull it to the back, take your little snips, snip it off, and then find the snip wherever it went. So you'll find snips everywhere for a while, but you know, try to keep the area clean, but you know, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Just go with the flow. There it is. Okay, just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. Okay, so there's the inner piece. Okay, it looks pretty good. It's not too bad. Okay, and then we need to cut our exterior, which will be this corners here. We'll cut these corners right here, like such. Cut this corner down and around. And then we'll cut this corner. And I know this is going to look easier than it is, because when you get yours, you're going to be like, damn, this is rough. And even though I bought these, I'm going to go back to the person that I bought them from and ask them if I do a build along, if I can give these pieces, if I can probably what I'll do is print the paper out so that I'm not giving you the files, because it probably won't be cool to give somebody the electronic files since I paid for them and he sells them. But I'll print the paper out, and then that's all you'll get is the printed paper. Now, since we're cutting this out, and a lot of times we can't see, we could turn it this way and go this way like this. But then our knife's a little off kilter. And so what we'd need to do is we'd need to take another piece of leather that's as equally as thick as this and put it on this side so that it keeps that knife level. Another thing we could do is we could take and we could make marks like right here on the paper, knowing that's our end and knowing this is our end. Or, since we've already cut this corner right here, we know we stopped cutting about right here, and we know we stopped cutting about right here. So then if we put our knife up here like this, and we blocked this curve, we could stop there and stop there. If it was necessary to do that, if it was going to impede with the piece, if there was other parts here that did not need cut and you had to stop your cut, that's an easy way to measure how far you're going to go. That way you know when to stop and that you're not running off and cutting into another part of your project. So just kind of a little friendly tip there. But for now, we'll just go ahead and cut this like so. We knew we stopped cutting about right there. We'll just draw this right along here. Gotta hold it down good because it'll move on us. Especially since we're holding this side. There's not a lot to hold. I usually like to put my ruler on this side when you push down, because you've got the full ruler holding down on the project, so it won't move. If you do it the way I just did it, this thing can move on you, and that's what you don't want. So I was just doing that for demonstration purposes, okay? But for right now, it doesn't really matter for us. So we can just do it like this. And we kind of know what we're getting into here. And you can see, yeah, that broke. Okay, good. And we go to the next piece right here. We just barely want to see that line. Barely want to see it. Barely want to see it. The other thing you can do is you can feel your leather too with your knife. So you can kind of, if you know you kind of went in about here, you can kind of push down a little bit and feel if the knife goes down all the way, or and as you're coming across here, you can feel if it starts to give a little bit, you know that you've already cut into that area. And so we know that this is not free here. This piece is hanging on, so we'll just give it a little saw cut. And we'll fix that area here in a second. Same thing here. There we go. And this piece here. Sometimes they'll come right out. Sometimes there'll be just little things that you miss. It's not a big deal, right? This part gets thrown away. Except the leather. Always throw the leather in another bin. But you can see here that as we came around that corner, that corner in, just straighten it up a little bit. So it's just where we overshot it just a tad. Same thing with this little deal here. We just kind of overshot that a little bit. We'll just cut that off a little bit. Then we'll have to take our sandpaper or Dremel and Dremel that. It might be easier to Dremel this, so I may do that here a little bit real quick. Okay, so I went ahead and went off camera and took the Dremel so it wouldn't be so loud. But I just hit these corners here a little bit and hit these corners in this high spot right here. No big deal. We could do the same thing with some sandpaper. So we'll just go ahead and take a little bit of 400 and finish this off. Just come around that corner a little bit and come around here. And we'll just kind of come around that a little bit. Just make this nice and smooth. We don't really need to get too crazy on this because we're getting ready to marry all this stuff up. And once it gets married up, then we're going to sand everything together. So at that time, everything will get sanded together and look like one big sandwich, so to speak. Okay. So this is our top. We'll do another one like this. It's our bottom. But for right now, this is our top. And we're going to go ahead and put our pieces on because it's going to be necessary to get these pieces on first. So each one, so this one here has to glue. We'll get our 45-degree tool out. Some people has called that a bump jig, but there's a guy on YouTube that claims that, or claims that he came up with the word bump jig, and so nobody can use that name, bump jig. I call it a 45-degree tool, but you can use it for about anything. So anyway, so put your piece up there and get it leveled up in a 45, bottom, top, side, bottom, side, bottom, side, okay? The top is what we'll leave to sand if we need sanding. And being this is the smaller side here, we really probably should leave the top side. We should make the top side and this side level and use the bottom side is the sanding side because we have more meat to sand. But in this case, it's negligible, so we wouldn't have to sand a whole lot anyway since we cut these pieces decently to size. So once we get that there, then we take our awl and we got to mark where we're going to glue. So we're going to glue just inside this corner here, okay, right there. And we're going to glue just inside of this. Anywhere we stitch is where we're going to glue. So we're going to stitch this from here around to here. Okay, this part's going to be open to put cards in. And actually, yeah, we'll come all the way up here with the stitching. And then this will allow our cards to slide in here. Now that I think about that, I think our cards, let me get a card real quick. Let's see what it's going to look like. We may need to not stitch that much. It's been a while since I've made one of these. So, yeah. So, we're going to need to, if we put it in there, comes to about there. If we came to about there with the card, peel this back, we're going to need to stop our stitching right there. So maybe I know we're going to stitch to there because that's going to be the pocket. And so as we put that in there, and take it all the way to the corner. So we're going to stop our stitching right here at this side because our card comes, whoops, let me see. Our card comes to right there, okay? So our card's going to basically fit about right there. So since our card comes up and around, we'll stop the stitching like right here. And then we'll leave this available. So knowing that, we'll take our wing divider and we'll draw this out, stitching from there to here, okay? And we're going to do the same thing for this side. So we could go ahead and take this side and go ahead and make sure that we get it in the 45 degree perfectly. We know we'll come to about right here. And you want to mark these every time. The reason you don't want to measure this and try to measure this side is because anytime you're hand cutting anything, this piece and this piece may not be exactly identical. It may, but it may not. So you always don't want to take that chance, okay? And then we're going to mark this here like we did this side. So don't take that chance. Just go ahead and mark it off of your piece. Go ahead and lay it up there. Make sure you know what you're doing. So then we'll come around here like so. And so now, with our wing divider marked, we know that this area here is what we're going to glue. And since we know that, we need to go ahead and scuff it up, okay? This is an old cash fuel card, so really not too worried about the numbers and things, because it's not any good anymore anyway. Let's take our awl and we can just scratch this here. For you guys that have your, one thing I will maybe suggest that you purchase, it may save you some time rather than scratching with your awl. I was always taught to scratch with your awl or your knife, but I don't like scratching with the knife because I feel like it kind of dulls the blade up, but sometimes not, depending on how you use the blade. Sometimes they'll sharpen it because leather is a natural sharpening agent for metal, believe it or not. It's what they use when they use the straps sometimes, or they could be steel. Sometimes those straps are steel. In the olden days, they were leather. They were the backside of a real expensive leather. For you that have this kind of tool, you can use that. It kind of goes like this. I suggest you put your finger there so you don't bump outside the line. And then just come around here like so. Come around the corner. Come around this corner and then just come down that straightaway to get to about right there. Sometimes this tool is the way to go. Sometimes it's not, but it's just another scuffer. Scuffer. Okay, so now that we've got that, so what we'll do now is take our glue and we will take our outside edge piece, okay? We know this one goes here, so like that, okay? So we're gonna put glue to there. Down around it, all the way to as far as it ends. Same thing on this. Go ahead and get a little glue on there. We don't need to put a lot, just a little bit. We just need enough to hold it because we're going to be stitching this. So we'll just do this right here. If you need a little more glue, you can just kind of take a little off your top edge there. And just kind of smear it on there, and you can just kind of break it on there like so. Get a little over. And if you get a little over, don't sweat it. Just kind of, we'll wipe it off, and it won't be too bad. It'll be hidden, nobody will see it. Won't glue because we won't do the other side. Now we need to go ahead and take this piece. Go ahead and about there. Down around the corner to about there. Let him set. Dim. Yeah, so while we're waiting on those, let's go ahead. Put this over here. We'll throw that in our leather scrap bin. Always throw your leathers in your leather scrap bin, because leather's non-biodegradable. A few of you didn't know that, so I always try to give it away to people that, you know, may want it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So then, since we used our 45 to mark, to line everything up, let's just go ahead and put our 45 in there. Stick our corner in there. Lay our piece in. Let's look at it, make sure it fits pretty good, make sure the top fits good, the bottom fits good. Looks pretty good. So I'm going to go with that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and, this is where we use our masher. Let's mash this together rather than using clips. I used to use clips. That's what they used to use. Everybody else has used clips, but I've seen sometimes it'll make marks, and sometimes they come out, sometimes they don't. They're supposed to, but not always. Depends on what you're working with, but anyway. So put that in there as a 45. And stick this corner in here first. That's how I do it. Hold this side, stick that corner in there. Then press in on this side, and then down at the same time, and then press down with your fingers. Kind of like one motion. You get a little glue on there, just rub it off. It's no big deal. Okay. Then I always just keep this on my workbench so that I have quick access to it. Right. Check the sides. Looks pretty good. This side looks like it needs to come over just a hair, so we'll move it over before it dries. This side looks like it's a little too much. Looks like it's up a little bit too high, so we'll try to move this down a little bit. Pull it down on this until we get that even. We could always peel it up if we wanted to, but sometimes if you just push down, and just kind of do it like that. There you go, that looks a lot better. Yeah, there we go. Looks a lot better. Okay, so we just take our pliers, squeezer pliers, squeeze that on there. Okay. Then, before we get to the next piece, we gotta mark this piece. This is the next piece that goes on. And when you make these, the cool thing is you can make these with different colors, right? So you could make this with, you know, a dark brown, a not so dark brown, and then this color, and kind of give the 3-tone. You could do it all in one tone, so you could make this inner piece out of these, and so it just blends in. So there's a lot of things you can do with that to make it yours. I chose today just to do it this way. I've done it with the 3 different colors before, and it looks pretty cool. And so we're going to do a couple of these. So I am in one of them. I am going to use the tricolor, but on this particular one, I'm going to just use the 2-color. Anyway, so we get our tool back out. Let's scrape rub any glue that we got on there off, right? Make sure we're not putting any glue on our project. Put it up there. Put this one down here. Pull that away. Make sure we mark this just on the inside, right there. And then we want to come right to this side of this tip, about right here. Make a mark. Okay. And that's how we're going to do that one. Let me take our wing divider. Go ahead and mark that. Come around. And up. Stop right there. That's that one. And then this piece. Little. And these little 45-degree tools are pretty cool. They work real well. They're very handy. I think I got this on Amazon. They're not real expensive. This is a W-E-N, win. So if you see a win, it's good. You can win with win. How's that? Let's make a little mark there. And let's make a little mark here. So we know that's where we're going to be. Come down. Come around. And then we scratch it. Scratch it. Put our finger there so we can make sure that we don't go over this and then put scratching in here where you can now be able to see it. So I just put my finger on the line. And don't dig my fingernail down, but put it right down to the leather. So that when I do kind of hit it, you know I'm hitting my finger or my fingernail. Just go ahead and scratch this up. Okay. Take our glue. We know we're going to glue just before the tip. Come down. Come around. Come down. Come around. And we'll scratch this up real quick. Use our scratching tool since we're doing one side. Gives you flavor on what the speed is on both of them, the ease on both of them. So you can decide what you want if you ever decide to buy your own tools. Yeah, you can buy tools at the yin yang for this. Yeah, we don't go all the way up. We'll leave that a little loose for now. That's where we're going to stop with our stitching anyway. And your glue is just to support your project until your stitching gets in. Once your stitching gets in, then if you could just come and remove the glue, because it's really not necessary. But sometimes you can use it to assist in holding. But if you ever have to take it apart, if it does hold real well and you put it in clamps and went crazy, it's going to tear that leather. When it comes apart, because it'll tear the leather before it will come apart. So we know that's probably pretty much ready to go. Rather than putting that back on there, we're just going to use our fingers, okay? And I usually bring it right to the edge of the table. Put my finger, one finger here, one finger here, like so. Bring this around, feeling with my fingers, making sure that both sides are straight. Make sure that's good and straight.
I'm not quite sure how to
And
help you
go
with
down
that.
through here. Sorry about what's her face answering me. I'm not sure I said her name, but she's very helpful. Anyway, so we just go down through here like this. And there we go. So now that's on. Let's go ahead and put this one on. Same thing. We're going to feel our edge when we put it on. And go up the edge. And just make sure that our bottom stays pretty consistent. There. Like so. And take our little masher and mash this. And then we're going to give this a few minutes to dry. While we're waiting on that to dry, we'll probably take the Dremel, and because these edges are not exactly perfect, we'll take the Dremel and we'll shape that a little bit. It won't take very long. I mean, we'll just run it up through here, run it over, turn the corner, and just make sure everything is straight. One thing we're going to do too before we get too far into it is this edge here, this edge right here, needs to be finished before we put it together. So we're going to need to do that very soon. So I think that's what we'll go ahead and do with this next step, so that we make sure we don't forget, because once you put it together, you can't get to that edge like we want to. So we can just take our gum trag, put it on our edge, come around, edges. Let's go ahead and take our tool. Let's go ahead and finish this. Now this tool has this edge that we can run this like here. We can also hit those circulars like so. Okay. Turn this like this, but we can also use this edge too to get in there. Very diverse and feature-filled tool. And sometimes it's just as easy on small areas like this to use that round area, that round piece that I'm using. This is the tool I usually use to make the high-end stuff out of and shine it real well and get those edges done. Problem is I don't have any of that. Okay, there we go. A little piece in here. Piece in there that needs snipped out, so we'll just go in there and just kind of cut it out. Go that way. Come around that corner gently. There we got it out of there. Okay. Now just put this up there. Let me just okay, there we go. We can also make sure that we get that real good on the bottom. We didn't want to cooperate, we could also put him up against here like this and use this to block him from moving. There we go. Okay, how's that? Looks like it fits pretty good. Now, so I'm gonna go ahead and Dremel this off camera here and get it ready. And we already got our edges done. And you can see why we always redo these edges, because trying to get back in here and force this over and open that glue spot open, it's not a good idea. So anyway, I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, we're back. Got this all dremeled, and I got these smooth right here, especially where these points are. I made sure that that was you know, decently smooth around here. I made sure that these points aren't just hanging out. And so I've got the top. Made sure everything looked good, and it's all good to go. So next thing we'll need to do is cut our back piece out, because we'll have to marry these two pieces together. Back piece and this piece will go together. That'll make our wallet. So same process as before. We'll want to cut our corners real carefully. Just go take your time. Go slow. And take your time. Cut down in there. Go slow. We're not going to cut the center because we already did that on the other one. This will be the solid backing. And sometimes you can make a different backing than you do the interior as well. So the very back backing doesn't have to be this color. It could be totally different color, as long as the color scheme matched. So you can just let your imagination run on these wallets. I'm sitting there thinking off camera while I was dremeling all this, had I ever made this wallet before? And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I have. Maybe. I know I did the zigzag one, which we're going to do that next, but I'm not sure if I did this one or not. It's in a wallet pack that has about 142 wallet templates. And I can tell you where to go get those when you sign up for my class. I'll be giving you all that information. Okay. Let me cut straight. Cut that. Since we don't have any pattern pieces that beyond this, we've already took our corners. We can just cut this whole thing straight across, and then we'll get little corners like that that'll be left over. This is easier to do than try to draw down and figure out your corner and, you know. Figure out your corner first, cut your straightaways, your corner pieces will fall right off. See? Almost makes a perfect corner. just take a little sandpaper and touch that up. Easy peasy. And see what I mean about stapling this? See? Because this side's been cut. If you were to tape it or try to put something in there to, you know, I mean, it just, once you get three sides to come loose, it's hard to keep these things lined up. When you got a staple, you got two, and sometimes use two staples. And then it really holds well. It holds it from moving and rolling and all kinds of things. So, there you go. That piece out of the way. And there we have it. Our piece is cut. So put that away. Let's go ahead and throw these pieces away and get them cleared off our table. I like to keep things cleared off the table. That way you're not sitting around with a bunch of scraps and stuff laying all over the place. I hate a messy table. My table's messy enough. I don't need it any messier. So, there we go. So we can take our little block, little contouring block, and we can just kind of, you know, just kind of give this a little gentle, rough sand. We don't need to sand a whole lot because we're going to put these together and sand them. Just something to knock off the edges. It. So next thing we need to do, turn this over and marry these together. So we're going to do this one section at a time and work our way over, because we need to close the whole outside, and then we're going to need to stitch the whole outside in one run. So the way I like to do it is to start on one side, make sure I get that lined up good. Just kind of checking it out and see what it looks like. I think what I'll do is do it this way. I like to do this in stages. So let's go ahead and open our glue. We'll take this piece and scoot it down a little bit so that I can see, and I'm going to to start with right here. I'm just going to glue a little bit right around there. I'm going to go down this side. And again, we can kind of, eyeball that. We knew about where we were going to do that at, so we're about right there. Okay. So we'll just take this glue right here, come back around. Just a little bit on the edge. And if you get a little wide on the edge, you don't have to worry about that because we'll be taking that off. When we break it, and we put our knife in there and break that. If you ever get any glue too far by accident, I'll show you a little trick that you can do that'll help. You take some of the glue off. Get you a little plastic pincher like this. And just come in here and just push it, push it, push it, push it, push it. And get you a little napkin or something. Wipe this off. All right. Push it. That's it. Start over there. Then we'll just take this, grab it underneath, kind of lay it on top of there. I like to move it to the edge over here and use the edge to, but I'll do it here for you guys on camera so it's a little easier to see. I'll hold it up higher here, so just kind of get that butted up under there so that you're coming right up, come around, make sure that it looks good all the way around, like so. Okay. And then once that's on, just kind of flatten this out and just generally take a look over here at this other end to make sure it looks like you know, it's gonna fit. It's not gonna be too short, too long. Our case looks pretty good because we're gonna glue it this way and work our way in. If you tried to put glue all the way around, it'd get messy, things would get stuck, and you know, you get part of this stuck and this would be sticking down. You'd be trying to lift that back up, and it's a whole thing. It's a pain in the neck. So I always do it like this. Much easier to do it this way. Just do it in little stages. Just come around. And then we can bend this back up. We can see right where we stopped. Okay. Now, put this piece down with these fingers. Make sure it's level with the edge. Okay. And then take a pencil, not a pen, a pencil, because we don't want us to be able to see it. Just take a pencil, just kind of draw right up under there with the pencil at this angle. Because we don't want glue further over this way, because we don't want to see any glue in this area, because this will be the undone area, right? And if you wanted to take some gum tragacanth and put in this area here and smooth it out, make it look real slick and all that, you could do that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it all, you know, a tack finish. So anyway, we want to do the same thing over here. Mark this. So we know how far glue here and here. The rest of this doesn't matter, right? Okay. And you can see we made our marks. So take our glue, shake off the excess, and go on the little piece right here first. Roll this over, kind of blot it, and come around. Same thing on this side. We want to make sure that we just only get glue right here. Get a little more glue here. and just keep continuing to glue all the way around, just like so. Okay, and we let that dry just a little bit. If you get some on your hands, you can just kind of rub it off in the trash can. That's what I'm doing. So, and the best way to do it is to take this edge and come up with this first and leave this part alone for right now. We're going to do it before it gets too dry, because if we need to move it around, we'll be able to. But we'll just come across this like so, okay? Push this away with our fingers on the non-glue side until we get there. We just want to make sure this is level. This is level. Consistently level. Until we get to the outside corner and around here. Then we want to come back to this side. We want to make sure that this is level. Putting our fingers in here to block it open like a sandwich. Making sure this is level. And your hands are going to get a little sticky. It's okay. Well, this will wash off. Just don't try not to get too much of it on your other leather or walk around with sticky hands, and just keep your hands clean. Walk this around. Make sure it walks around. It's a little short on that corner. Looks a little short on the corner for some reason. So what we're doing here is we're just taking this and we're pushing down and pushing this way to that corner, like this, okay? What that does is that pushes that leather up to that corner. I'm gonna do it while it's flat. And take our flattening tool. Flatten this all the way around. This time we're just going to go all the way around everything. And that looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Mashed down pretty good. We didn't get a bunch of glue on everything. We will need to sand our edges. That's okay. We'll take the Dremel to this. The Dremel will be a lot quicker at sanding. And there we go. Now we're going to be ready to stitch once we sand. So I'm going to go ahead and sand off camera because it's loud. Basically, I'm just going to take the Dremel. I'm going to go right around here. choke up on the Dremel up here. And then I'm going to come around here like this. Come up here. Come up here. Come around like this. Turning this, holding it, and then coming around, coming up through here. And coming around here like so. Back and forth, back and forth. Come around here, come around there. And then come around here and make sure all this is flat. That's what we're going to do. And then everything will be nice and flat. Then we can take our wing divider and we'll have something straight and narrow and level to measure off of. And then we can go ahead and take our wing divider punches and punch down in this leather. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers to punch through. When we do that, it's going to be a little more tricky because it's going to be thicker, okay? You can see it's going to take a good portion of our, and I'll just show you. It's going to take a good portion of our leather, go into our leather. And so it's going to be important that we keep this straight up and down. Let me demonstrate this, why we have to keep it straight up and down. If we don't keep this straight up and down and we tilt it too much this way, when we come out, we're going to come out like this. These are going to be further out than this. You can see it's going to be like, if we go this way, it's going to put the holes too far in. If we go that way, it'll put the holes too close to the edge. And sometimes, and you don't even have to move it very far, because if I move it at this angle, it don't look like much. By the time you get through it, you're going to be all the way to the edge. At 4 millimeters in, and you're at this angle, 4 millimeters. I mean, you can see from that angle right there. From there to there, 4 millimeters. It's already to the outside. So it's going to be imperative that you keep your tool very straight, left and right, forward and backward, when you're nailing it down. It's just going to take some practice. But I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick, and then we'll come right back. Okay. Well, we're back. We got this all stitched up. All sanded on the edges. I sanded it first and then took the wing dividers, marked it, stitched it. Now we're gonna just pin this down a little bit. There we go. Hopefully that wasn't too noisy. And after I do that, I like to take a cheesecloth, or in this case a canvas cloth that you can get at your local paint area of your local Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever your hardware is. And when you get it from there, I think I got ours from Home Depot because it's closest. Lowe's is 30 minutes away. Home Depot's 10 minutes, so it comes in a big bundle. I forget how many wide, and it's pretty good size. It's like 40 feet wide and 60 foot long or something like that. I think I paid like 20 bucks for it or something. Yeah. I just cut off what I need. Use it until it's wore out. Keep molding it over. In this case, I'm just using to take either the pound marks out or something like that. Okay. So it looks pretty good. So since I did that, I noticed that, this outside is looking a little mushroomed. Keep in mind that now this is all stitched in here. And so we can go ahead and take our bone folder and break away our glue lines. So break away that glue line there completely. And see how our credit card fits. Fits pretty snug in there. See how it fits in our secondary one. It's going to fit pretty snug in there. I would definitely recommend that you put cash or something in these second slots. I went ahead and took, rather than stopping the leather from going all the way around, if we would have left this piece exposed, we'd had to start and stop, leave this piece undone here, and just do this piece. I could have showed you a specific technique that we can use for that, and still basically assemble it like this, but it would have left this undone. So we could have taken this credit card in there and pushed it in there further, but so we're going to use it. We'd say use that for cash. Use this for this piece in here for paper and stuff and whatnot, and then use this one for credit cards. And then it'll fold over like so. It'll be a nice little fold over credit card holder. And then this we use for cash, and this you can use for paperwork. So that'll work okay. And then put those there, and that'll stay below the ridge line. So there we have it. We will go ahead and take this now. Take our wing, or I'm sorry, our edge beveler, and take this edge beveler and go ahead and get these edges off here. Take these edges right off. Take a little bit of that edge off. Give it a little 45-degree angle cut look to it. Make it nice and professional looking. There you have it. Now we'll just give it a little sand. Take the bevel there and go ahead and hit the edges. And it'll look pretty good. Let's go ahead and clean up our mess. Put up the yellow stitching. Decided yellow was probably going to be the best looking, attractive. Kind of match this and sets the brown, chocolate brown out, stamps it out a little bit, makes it pop, if you will. And take our piece of paper and put it up here and our little shaper. Give it a little brush, a little sand. Sand these edges a bit. Something like this. There we go. It didn't take off a whole lot, but it took off a little bit. which is all we really want. Just want to take off the edges. We've already ran the Dremel across it and took off the big high spots. So that's just really knocking off the rough spots. And take our drug or gum trag. Put on the edge. Rubbed in pretty good. You'll notice it'll change the color. It'll go from a light to a dark. It'll fill that in pretty well. Since we got that top half there, it's already starting to dry. We'll go ahead and hit it with our edging tool. And then what I usually like to do is I usually like to get a newer piece of canvas. The thinner one. This is a pretty new, thin piece of a shirt. Put on there. Get sucker up. Gets it nice and slick. So we can get on those edges really good. Come all the way around. Since that's a short piece, we'll go ahead and do this piece on here up to here. Get that edge real good. Follow that one around. You can hear that clicking. You take our little piece of shirt there. Do this last edge here. Come around this corner. Here we go. It's pretty good, looks shiny. Let's go ahead and there we go. And once that's done, we're going to just take a little bit of beeswax, put on there, seal that edge. It don't take very much. Takes a little bit across that edge. Same technique. Put that on, just take this, heat that up, get that beeswax down in there. I'm telling you, if you follow these techniques, just about everything you build, no matter what it is, how big, how small, what type of project it is, you're gonna be successful, because they all have to have stitching, edging, and then, in this case, protection from the elements, rain, from bees, and whatever else they want to get in there. Feels pretty good. Let's take our cheesecloth or shirt or whatever you want to call it, and just give it a final, including the edges. Just hold it. Just take your fingers like that and make a little cup and come right over the top of it. Edge, corners. One thing good is to get them corners good. I'll tell you, you can use a little trick on these corners if you have a hard time getting them. You can do one of these numbers too. You do the sides. They'll lose more control. Takes a little bit more to heat it up, but you can get it heated up like this. It's easy to get heated up like this. You can get it a lot more quicker. And then when it feels like the beeswax has settled down and non-sticky and won't, is holding in there and not coming out. That's what you want. And we'll be putting it together like so and creased it. Be a nice little wallet. So you have it. Another building wallet with Frank. Thank you for sharing this with me. Please like, share, subscribe. Give me a comment down in the comment section. We're going to start another one similar to this, except for I think I'll do a Z where these pockets are inverted. So whether you're holding it this way or holding it this way, the pockets are always at the top, and it's pretty cool looking. So I think it's a pretty successful wallet. People seem to like it. So anyway, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Take care.